Welcome to the No Faces Comic Chat. This is your host, BUB'S Comics, and with me, as always, you know this guy. First of all, we won't even beat around the bush. This is going to be our big horror episode. That's horror. That's right. Episode. And you know that this guy's whole collection, everything he's about, if it's not horror, he's not into it. Or if it's not, he's not into it, it's not horror. Your buddy, my buddy, Roger.
Oh, greetings, everyone.
Wait a minute. That's not right. Your buddy, my buddy, if it ain't horror, he ain't horrified. We got DS Comics. Welcome.
What's up?
And where's that other guy? There's Roger.
Where's that other guy? Now I'm relegated to other guy.
The other guy. That them there other guy. Good to have you. Glad you could all make it. We got a big, fun-filled, exciting, and potentially titillating. Let's see. Yes, I'm sure it's potentially titillating. Yep, there it is. There's the potential titillation. All right, you're welcome, everybody. We're going to be talking about them there horror books tonight. Specifically, what I would like to mention are the kind of the reasoning you think behind horror books. You know, why people even like them. Why is there such a genre to begin with? And then kind of just show a bunch of books and enjoy ourselves. So, as our resident horror expert, I'm probably going to take a big backseat tonight. I'll show a bunch of books, but I won't have much to say. But you know who will have a lot to say, and that's our good buddy Roger.
I think the misdirection is getting directed at this point.
Oh, do you now?
Yeah.
Well, DS will set us all straight. Just remember that when you are showing off your books, to tell us what you like about them, because not everyone is going to have the same taste in books, especially on these horror books. They can be very different from each other. Oh, yes. Good point. Anybody remember who our team name is? What's our team name tonight? Anybody?
Oh, brain something about brains.
All right. Sounds like he's got it locked in. So what do you think our team name is, Roger?
Oh, abnormal brainwaves.
You're fired. DS.
Abnormal brainiacs.
You guys suck so bad. We're the abnormal. I don't have the thumbnail. We're the abnormal brain thieves.
He doesn't know it either.
I know what we are. I just don't have the thumbnail to prove it. But we're the abnormal brain thieves. And I want you to know that I struggled with this title, not mightily, but trivially, and mostly because I had first made a thumbnail. We were going to be the abnormal brain stealers, and I thought, you know what? It just doesn't sound good. I think we should be the abnormal brain thieves. What do you guys think? Should I stuck with Steelers or moved it to Thieves? Or since you couldn't remember it either way, I guess you don't care.
I think Thieves is good. It's, it definitely was inspired by the Frankenstein story, clearly. So, yeah, I'm down with it.
Yes.
Or the man who had no brain. One of the two.
Well, see, now that's a very good point, Roger, because as I generally I like my my titles to be a little bi-directional in nature. So yes, it could have been either we're stealing, right? Either we are the thieves of abnormal brains, right? Or we're just generally abnormal brain thieves. So we're stealing brains, but we ourselves are the abnormal ones. You see how that works?
Another semantic ambiguity.
Yes.
Correct.
I like those dexterous semantic ambiguity-mycesis. Or is it mycesis or atomicide? I don't know. Roger will tell us. Which one is it, Roger?
Knowing you, it could be both.
Yes, absolutely. All right. What do we have? You know what, Roger? I haven't let you shout out the chat for a while for time constraint purposes, but I don't think there's anything else going on tonight. So why don't you take it away, buddy?
All right, let's see who we got in here. Let's start where we usually can start, and that is at the beginning. We have the old comic smell in here. How you doing, buddy? Great to see you here right at the beginning. We got Metarog. Who cares about him? Mike is in here, Area 51. Jambo, our buddy from Kentucky. He's also a cover slinger on Saturday. See that show. Unruly Simeon. Man, what can you say? Just he is everywhere. He is a great supporter of this community, unless he's on the road with Loki. And then we have Collecting Chaos. Again, great collector. Really, some really cool vids on cleaning comics and stuff, Bub, that you may be interested in. My buddy Jason's here from Heroes to Icons, another great supporter of this community. And Alex Big Blue, another Kentuckian. And they're coming out of the woodwork here.
Just so you know, Kentucky is nothing but woodwork. So
Okay,
anytime they come out, they're coming out of the woodwork.
And we have Bill, Comic Mag Musings, who was my partner on Saturday as we did the Chang-Chi Bronze Age retrospective. And we got Gray Man in here, of course, all the way from the UK, the man who never sleeps. Slim Comics and More is in here, of course. Another cover slinger, but I think he has to work on Saturdays, unfortunately. Jackson Roykirk, one of the most knowledgeable guys around from over in New Orleans. Stay safe, buddy. I hope that storm steers away. Rob, not near Mint, a fellow South Floridian. And we got C. Woodard 19, also doing a great 31 days of horror reads that everybody should check out. I enjoy it quite a bit. And I think that is it, except for Super Russ got in here while I was reading the top of the chat. How you doing, Russ? And, of course, DS Comics is here, as always.
Who? Oh, that other guy.
That other guy. Not this
The other guy.
That other guy, yeah.
My alter ego.
Yes. I don't believe he has an alter ego, because if he had one, he'd probably use the other one. So.
Yeah. He only has one
That would be a
pair of
superpower,
pants, so obvious.
That'd be a superpower, yeah. He's a singular ego, which we'll take. So we'll just start off by making a small distinction that I chose to make, and you guys can agree or disagree or show different books or whatever. But when I was looking at when I pulled books for tonight, I was pulling books that were not really of the superhero genre.
Right.
So a lot of these are going to be just kind of anthology type books. Some of them may have storylines, but for the most part, only for the ones that are very obviously horror in nature of the superheroes. So we'll start off with one right here. There's my Tomb of Dracula #1, signed by Neil Adams, which is the scariest thing about all of it. And of course, we got Elvira looking on, and that's actually a Cave Woman book, and it's obviously Bride of Frankenstein with leopard print bandages. I tell you, you don't find that every day. So there you go, Tomb of Dracula. So I chose this one. I am not a huge vampire fan. I like werewolves probably the most, but my wife likes Dracula specifically, and she likes vampire stories. So this was one of the big books that we picked up together, kind of, that she was excited for me to get, and we got them signed together. So this is a good book in my collection, and it hangs on the wall above her treadmill. So it keeps her running from the bat behind her, which is probably me. So, so that's what I'm starting out with. One of the few more superhero-y type books that I'll show tonight, and I got a couple more, but that's my first one. So I think what makes this book appeal to people is that it harkens back to a character that they already know. So if you're going to pick up comics and you say, here's a comic about a character I already know. I do the same thing when I do video games. So a lot of people play like all kinds of different video games, and much like DS, where he, if you guys didn't know already, he thinks that Batman and Robin is a cinematic masterpiece.
I do like that movie.
Yes.
That's true.
As divisive of a comment as that is, I also like licensed video games which generally are much maligned as well.
That depends. There are some very good licensed video games, certainly, but yeah, a lot of them are maligned because they generally are really more about the license than they are about the gameplay, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Reaper Tate talks about a lot of those on his channel, and he's sort of a video game aficionado and a collector. He has a massive video game collection. He's very serious about it. And I've heard him talk over the years about licensed video games, especially comic book related ones. And he'll talk about some that are surprisingly very playable and fun, and some are, like, as you said, Roger, just about the license. So anybody's interested in that, go check out his channel. He does a ton of content, and he's been doing it for years. And a lot of it is video game related, and a lot of it is licensed comic book video game stuff. So interesting topic if you're into it. Are we still here?
Bub there?
I guess.
Yeah. I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people think that the video games that are tied into movies and comic books and other properties, I mean, let's be honest, they're probably paying a lot of money for those licenses. There may not be much left for the developers to come up with something good. So, but anyway, I tend to gravitate towards those, and the reason that I do is because I don't like learning new lore. Like, I find it very tedious and boring, and if I have to, sometimes you open a book on some of these type fantasy books, and they'll have the first 10 pages will be teaching you words that don't exist. And it's like, it's kind of like if you've ever read Genesis in the Bible, it's like, and this guy begat that guy, begat that guy, begat that. You're like, oh my gosh, this is going forever. Like, I don't want to have to learn all this stuff. So that's why I think that this type of book people can be drawn to, because this is a nice introductory to comics. Because if you already know Dracula, you already know what vampires are about, you already have a good idea of his power set before you read the first page. You'll be surprised at how in depth it gets, but to start off, it's a nice introduction to say, okay, it's a character I'm already familiar with, so let's see where the story takes it. So I like that about these, and there's only really a few of these that get that kind of in the horror genre. The rest is largely new material or original thoughts. So yeah. There you go. Who's next? Let's go with the man's got all the answers. Nah, he's busy. How about DS?
I'm happy to step in place of the man who has all the answers. Yeah, I like. All right, so there's the three traditional classic monsters of horror: Dracula, Frankenstein, and the Wolfman, the werewolf. Of those three, I think I probably like Dracula the best. I like vampires. Not a huge fan of vampire movies, although some of them are good. But yeah, I like vampires. But mainly what I like about horror comics is, I don't know, it's got like a supernatural sort of dark theme to it. And it's like nightmares come to life in art. And, there's an interesting physiological response to fear. And in humans, it generates chemically the same response as excitement. So if you're excited about something that's fun or pleasurable, that generates in the body the same chemical response as fear. Now, your subconscious and your conscious will interpret that differently, as, there could be danger and other things associated with fear that are not there with the excitement. But this is why it doesn't make sense that we would like to be scared. We would like to put ourselves in imminent danger sort of feeling. But horror movies are very popular. Horror material is very popular in the culture. And, that's where it stems from. I personally like this dark theme stuff because, I don't know, there's something just about the dark that appeals to me. It's quieter. Things are more hidden. It's more private. There's more of an occult element to it. And that's what draws me to these type of covers. And I generally tend to go towards the stuff that is more classic as opposed to the in your face, like Black Cat Mystery 50 and Tomb of Terror 15. If you guys are familiar with those, the two just in your face exploding faces. It doesn't have that sort of creeping darkness to it. It's just an in your face gruesomeness. cool. I definitely like them. I've owned both of them, but then I sold them. They didn't stick with me the way something like this does. It's just got a classic sort of dark, scary feel to it. It's not necessarily in your face, but it's all there, and you can get immersed in this image. And of course, most of these happen at night. You have the full moon and the bat; those are pretty classic symbols. And then the undead is a popular category I like, along with vampires. And so this got the undead, and this is a classic for Zeta, so it's well done, and it's more classic than some of the more in-your-face horror stuff. So that's a little bit about what I like, and this is one I just got today. I won this on Comic Link last month. Been on the lookout for one of these for a few years, and I just never pulled the trigger until this one. I thought the price was reasonable, off white to white, and it's a nice copy. There's no chunks missing, and it presents well. So finally have a nice copy. I just got this today, so happy to show that off. So that's what I've got for now.
Woohoo!
Really cool.
Now, I believe at one point, Bill over at Comic Mag Musings was attempting to offer $5 towards the purchase of this book. Did you ever receive his check?
I'll tell you, if somebody wants to make an offer well above $5, this book will be sold.
All right. Well, there you go.
But yeah, you guys know me. I mean, look, I'm not one of these guys that keeps everything. I keep very little, but I keep stuff longer until someone offers me a right price on it, and then I sell it. I will sell this if somebody gives me the right price, just like anything else I own. And it's not because I don't love it. I'll just buy something else I love. And this way I can experience. And, I had a Black Cat and I had a Tomb of Terror 15. So I already had them. I don't have them anymore, but I have other books because I sold those that I didn't have. So it's like it increases the amount of books I can enjoy. I just can't keep them all. So, everything's for sale at the right price, right?
Yeah, you got them rolling in, man. They're already coming in hot and heavy.
I know they're up to $6. We're gonna have to pay off $5.50 bid because Area 51's at $6. So yeah, keep it going throughout the chat. Maybe we'll get there. Who knows?
Yeah, it'll take a few weeks, but we might reach it. Roger, what have you got for us?
Well, I think you guys have hit a few kind of genres that I like as well. I mean, I think that the horror genre, when I was younger, I wasn't really allowed to have that kind of stuff because, my mom thought that I couldn't get to sleep and all that. So I didn't have it as a kid. So when I could drive and was a little older, that's when I started really getting into them and really starting to appreciate them. And this is a kind of a subgenre like the gothic types of horror.
Look, Comic Mag Musings has interrupted this regularly scheduled, family-friendly program with his $2.50 each, which means he gets the double whammy, not just the slow motion up close, but also the slow trot around the knoll. Look at that. Nothing like a nice knoll trot.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Thanks for the supporting the stream, buddy.
Yes, this is what keeps the candles burning, as they say here on the No Faces comic chat. Please continue, Roger. As if no interruption.
$5 these days, I'll tell you. You can't have much more fun than that for $5.
No, I tell you, that's.
I hear you.
That's what else can you get? Some lunch somewhere, some cheap lunch. Come on,
I'd give my lunch up for that.
Let me see if I can put this so that the glare isn't so bad. Jeez.
I don't know. I think you made it worse.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, so and these are the kind of that lately. Yeah, I made it worse there, didn't I? These are the ones that lately I'm gravitating to, and that is the suggestive covers. I think DS was kind of brought that into the conversation. But notice here, there's no overt danger, right? But it's everywhere too, right? Yeah. You have this really creepy looking house at the top of this cliff and this long winding staircase, and then you have this gargoyle on top of what may be a tombstone, and you have an angel, trumpeting down here, and of course the lady in white, signifying purity and innocence, looking back at something that may or may not be there. That kind of suggestive horror, I think, is much more effective because, like DS says, you don't have all the facts. It's dark. It's mysterious. It could be something monumental, or it could be something of your imagination. You don't know. And that kind of uncertainty is what really, like you said, it releases those endorphins and makes you either fight or flight. And these kind of the covers are the ones that really get you thinking about what could be the issue here, what could be possibly in the shadows or outside the frame of the cover. What could it be?
Yeah.
I think that's House of Secrets 88.
Correct.
And that's a Neil Adams. And
correct.
You guys know I collect bronze horror as well as golden age horror. That book is so tough to find in nice condition. We're talking like 8.0, 8.5 and up. I picked one up. It's a fantastic investment if you can find one of those in like VF or up, because it's so tough to find those early DC bronze horror. That's like a 1970 or 71 book. And it's so tough to find in high grade. If you can even find like a VF copy, it's a really good idea to pick it up and just hold on to it. And it's a killer book too. That whole title is awesome inside and out. Yeah, and I really like that one. I have it too.
Agreed. I have a couple more that I'm going to show that I also think are just top notch.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. I really like the DC bronze horror. It's kind of what I cut my teeth on when my collection started expanding beyond the usual, the superhero stuff, and moving into some anthology books. That's where I gravitated to, even more so than the Marvel bronze. I really like the DC horror was great. Enjoyed that a lot. I don't know how this book got on there, but Diaz had mentioned The Undead, and I think this may be the only zombie book I have with some fresh tape on there for your not so viewing pleasure. Sorry about that, guys. We gotta. Mike likes Area 50. You can blame Area 51, Mike, for that one.
Wow.
This is not for the cover, but for the tape.
Wow.
Yeah, but I also wanted to show off a couple of the Seduction of the Innocents, because we haven't mentioned Wortham or the Code yet, and I think that that is just worth mentioning. That that there for a while it was horror books that really pushed horror, and of course crime and sex as well, of the pre-Code era, that catapulted or slammed the door shut on any kind of horror stuff. Certainly stopped the allowance of things like, werewolves and vampires, any colored blood, nothing like that. Things had to then be more suggestive and less overt because of that. Because in pre-Code, there was plenty of overt, overt death and horror. So just showing some love to this little group of comics. Of course, there's great Dave Stevens.
Yeah, that's a classic. I like that one.
And I love that little orange head there, the real head amongst all the pumpkins. Fantastic. And then here is some Bernie Wrightson for A Seduction of the Innocent here. And he's got the guy, he's still alive. I love that, or at least he appears to be, because he's still got air coming out of him. And he's tied by a boulder to the neck down underwater. So talk about an underwater death cover there. So, and then some classic hatchet work.
Oh, nice.
I love that. This is a Francesco Francavilla cover. And you see the hand out of there dripping with blood, hatchet dripping with blood, and the head in the guy's hand being held by the hair, which is very classic.
Yeah, very EC-like. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, by the way, Bob, I didn't want to interrupt you, but Gretzky sent a little $2 donation your way, and I just wanted to recognize and thank him for that.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. In StreamYard, it doesn't highlight it. So
yeah, I know. That's why I
have to catch it. Thank you. I do appreciate that. Let's see. What's the $2 donation worth? Well, has Wendy? I don't know. We're going to be – it's a tough one. I don't know. This whole the whole show has just gone, well, There you go. That's our nice little $2 donation with just a hint of what $10 can bring you. There you go. Well, there you go. Thank you, Mr. Gretzky, 9966 Hut. We appreciate it. Yes, good stuff. I like these the Seduction of the Innocent books. I think it's a nice little throwback, like you said, more of an EC feel to them. So good stuff. All right, what do you got there, DS? Oh boy, that's some real horror right there.
Everybody knows this one probably. Startling Terror Tales number 11. It is my favorite LB Cole cover of all time, although it's not probably. It might be in his top 5, but it's definitely in his top 10. But for me, this is the best horror cover and the best Cole cover. A little different than the last one. This isn't suggestive. I don't really consider this in-your-face gruesome. This is more of the surreal type. It's definitely horror. It's got a freaking Black Widow with a giant human skull with blood. This guy is already dead, and he's starting to rot. You can see the green on him. She's next. It's got these floating heads and a big spider web on a red background. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. This is like surreal and just bizarre, off-the-wall type of horror. So, I like stuff like that too. I don't consider this in your face. And LB Cole is one of my favorite artists, as you guys know, and he had such a talent in so many different styles. He was a very talented artist with paints, with pencils, with airbrushing. I mean, he was very talented. He did a lot of hyper realist stuff. He did some just like, I don't even know, you could almost like impressionist type work. And then this is in between the two of those. Just super cool. And it's simple. There's not a lot to it. There's a spider with a human skull killing 2 people on a big spider web with a red background. So there's not much to it, but it's just striking.
I put those in the nightmare category.
Yeah, I think it's a nightmare for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a nightmare category. I think like the book Roger showed is more like kind of a scary moment that could happen, kind of the fear of the unknown kind of thing. A lot of the stuff I've shown so far have been mostly crime. As far as the Seduction of the Innocent goes, or tongue-in-cheek or cheeky, just plain cheeky. But definitely that to me is a nightmare cover, because in no way, shape, form, or fashion should that take place in the natural world. And if it has taken place, you're in a nightmare and you're probably not going to survive it. So it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I love it.
Yeah. So let's see. Roger's got a tough act to follow, and he comes with no, not the Mummy with the power to karate chop buildings. Oh no!
What could be more horrible than that? Now, some people in the chat were saying, because when DS was saying the Universal monsters, werewolf, Frankenstein, and Dracula. What about the Mummy? So
there you go.
I agree. What about the Mummy? This is another well-known monster type. The Egyptian either prince or king or wizard that was disemboweled and wrapped up in a tomb and preserved with preservatives, and then many years later, somehow reawakened and terrorizing, the modern world. And this is the first appearance of this particular living mummy that Marvel had, and then he actually took over the title a few issues later. But notice, of course, he has the damsel in his right arm tucked under there, and he's being fired upon with absolutely no effect whatsoever. So I just thought I'd bring that out just to bring another monster archetype out.
Yeah, and the Mummy, you're definitely right. I was thinking when they were talking about earlier in the chat. I agree. Mummy is one I omitted off of that list. That's definitely right up there with the other 3 that I listed. I don't have any Mummy covers, so I think it just slipped my mind. I don't own any covers with a Mummy on it, amazingly enough. So now I'm gonna have to go get one because, obviously I have to have one of those. When I think of the Universal monsters, like the movie monsters from the 50s and the 40s, there's a lot with mummies, but I think the actors who played the mummies, since you couldn't ever see their face, they didn't get the recognition, and maybe it didn't rise to the top level in those movies at the time. But overall, yeah, Mummy's definitely on the list.
Yeah, I like the Mummy. I like. There's been different iterations of the Mummy. I think like when I think of the movie mummies, some are much scarier than others for sure. So they make rounds of being really frightening to not frightening at all. And you know, some of the early crossovers with you know, Abbott and Costello and stuff like that. That's all good stuff too.
Those Abbott and Costello ones are my favorites.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love those things because, you know, Costello was always, you know, the bumbling guy who could see the monster, and Abbott, you know, whenever he turned around, it was gone. You know, it was great stuff.
Yeah, for sure. We got here now. Let's see what we're going to show here. How about some classic werewolf action? So there's Spotlight number 2, the first appearance of Werewolf by Night, another Neil Adams. I love change covers. That's always my favorite horror shtick, if you will. And that's when they change from one to the next to the last. I mean, that's just, you really can't beat that. A good scream there.
Yeah, that's the transformation panels. Yeah.
Yes, I call them change covers. You don't like it? Well,
you call it whatever you wish. I'm just saying that's what we used to call them in the old days, transformation.
Yes, that's what they are. Transformation covers. I love them. Can't beat that. And then, of course, nothing scarier than a new Batman. So anytime they change Bruce Wayne around, that's when it gets rough. But I love this Batman cover. It was one of the first Batman books. Actually, it's Detective Comics, but it's one of the first Batman books I ever bought. And it was because it had the Mummy, Frankenstein, and werewolf, Frankenstein's monster. I'm sorry. I'm sure Roger was chomping at the bit to correct me on that. And the werewolf or Wolfman, whichever you prefer, you know, being held by, to me, what would be the bat, right? Mm-hmm. So there you go.
I thought you said no superhero covers here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It is a superhero, but it's more the situation that he's in. And then, you know, 2 of my favorite superheroes here.
Okay.
You know, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I know Mike's a big Elvira fan, so.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. So there's 2 of my favorite superheroes there in peril. Superheroes in peril. They're about to fall out of a high height. So there you go. That's what I'm going with. What do you got there? Who's up? DS or Roger? I feel like I just heard him from Roger. It's DS. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, cauldron work. Oh, we forgot about witches. Go on, buddy.
Yeah, witches. I really like witches a lot too, and I have you know, quite a few. I mean, percentage of my collection. I've got several witch covers. This one's probably my favorite one. This is Beware Terror Tales 8. This is the last issue of the title. The thing about this that I like, a lot of times you see witches and they're about to cook somebody or they're about to burn somebody or do something, and the person is there and they're scared and you're like, you can see what's coming and they're in trouble. This is after the fact. You don't usually see it after the fact. This person is gone already. It's just a skeleton left in the cauldron, and you can see the cooking's been going on for a while. The flesh is completely gone. It's just bones left. So a little more graphic than some of the witch cooking covers. But what I really like about this is the color scheme. The color scheme makes a big difference on these horror books for me. It doesn't necessarily have to be bright colors, but it has to be the right colors. And this one is just so striking because it's got this sort of pewter gray and this light washed out green on the witches, and then this bright scarlet red coming out of the cauldron and with the light emanating from the middle of the book. It's just a very striking color scheme. And normally you would see a lot more bright colors on these things. This one doesn't really have any bright colors, but it grabs you when you see it. And not a book you see too often. I picked this up last year or the year before, I can't remember. But I knew I had to have it because I was aware of it, and you just don't see it for sale that often. And it's a Fawcett book. For those of you who like Fawcett, you know, people normally talk about the Captain Marvel family stuff for Fawcett. This is a Fawcett from 1953. So yeah, witches, very cool category. And this is my favorite witch cover. So there you go. Beware Terror Tales 8.
Yeah, I love the cauldron in there. The cauldron is in red, and it's more coming out. And you're right, like the kind of like the light effects are kind of shadowing them a bit. Really brilliant design here. Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, that gray on the top with the yellow title, it's just, you would never think that would come out good on a comic book. But it works on this. And this red, not like a bright red, it's like a deeper scarlet type red. Yeah, just the pewter top half with that yellow title and then the red on the bottom. Yeah, really cool. Love it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
All right, Roger. Show us what you're hiding.
Okay. Hiding?
Yeah.
How can I show something if I'm hiding it?
Well, you show it now because you've been hiding it. Now you're ready to show it.
Oh.
Show it.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but look at the title way up here. I want to show this kind of up close. You would think this is kind of like a non sequitur at the end here. It says Dracula, Zombies, Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
Which one does not fit there? Just doesn't work for me. But anyway, I put this out because it as a man, we can be tempted, by our prurient interests, right? And the monsters or the creatures that prey upon those desires and those weaknesses, this is one of those that illustrates that. Lilith, daughter of Dracula, beautiful, great figure, very provocative dress with almost a bare midriff all the way up through the neck here. And Earl Norem cover, which he does very, very textured covers. Huge flowing red cape with all kinds of bats coming towards you. So that you want, to have she's alluring. You want to be with her, but that would be a one-time thing because you would be drained of your blood and you would be gone. So to me, this is scary because it's so alluring and so tempting that that you can't control yourself. But if you don't, you're gone. So that's the kind of tempting cover, shall we say, that will bring men in like succubi and like sirens, but it will lead to their demise.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I think what's interesting too about those types of alluring covers is that when you think back, let's face it, a lot of comic collectors, probably young boy comic collectors, may have been very interested in giving their life for that woman, just even once. And there's even, I know, some members of our comic community now who still would. So it's
he says worth it.
Worth it. Yep, there you go.
Mike, you're a happily married man. You're kidding.
Yeah, but the temptation. Look at that poor temptation. Let's see. I guess it's me. I'll just going to show another series of books. We'll run through these real fast. Scary Popcorn. Look at the guy in the back. He's dead, but he's still wearing his hat. That's a gentleman. Well, he should have taken it off indoors, I suppose. But if you notice, the popcorn has something interesting written on it. I can't really read it. I'm going to have to use the camera to read it. It says, is it focusing? It says popcorn with extra good, extra butter. So hope you guys appreciate that. you got some more pumpkins.
Oh yeah, what's that on her wrist? I want to see what's on her wrist.
Yeah, she's got you're right. They're like crosses and skulls there on that wrist. Yes. Very interesting stuff going on there. So there you go. And this one, now you'll have to help me, DS. There is a cover. I want to say you've had this book several times, but it's like that big worm with the head.
Well, there's a couple of them.
It was one in a run that you were collecting.
Oh, the Thing. Thing 15 has a giant. It's a Ditko cover. With
that's the one.
Trash.
Yep.
And it kind of has a striped worm coming all the way through the buildings and stuff, right?
Yeah, and there's also a Russ Heath one. I can't remember which title it is, but it's got a giant worm in a cave. A man and a woman are in a cave, and they encounter this massive worm in a cave, and it's got classic Russ Heath light and shadow, and it's sort of a classic. Spellbound 5, maybe.
Well, this one to me, I always think of. I think there's a SpongeBob episode. It's like about the Alaskan bullworm, and I always think about that. So this one is a cover in a cover. So it has Our Monsters Real.
Oh, yeah.
On a Times magazine. And then I think this is a Linsner cover. And of course, that poor worm is just, it can't help but be ooey and gooey. And poor Elvira's taking the brunt of that. So we apologize to her for that. Then here she is riding a bat.
Oh, that's cool.
A bat. I like that one. I think that's cute. She's got the little riding whip there. And I love this one. This is one of my favorites. It's got the zombie hands coming after her, but both of them are unattached. So they're just kind of free floating, self-autonomous zombie hands, coming after her. So I think that's great.
Yeah, that's cool too.
And here's some quick ones here we'll go through. Good stuff. We're running out of room. Elvira's busting out all over. There's another one, riding the broom.
That's a choice words there.
I don't know what you're talking about, Roger.
Yeah, sure you do.
There's another one, watching scary movies, right? And all of them coming after you. So there's something there. Now, I've never been a horror movie watcher. I like the Universal classic monster movies and even the newer adaptations of those same types, but I don't go for just a bunch of jump scare stuff. So I love this one. So here you have Elvira running, right? In the mummy's tomb. You got that mummy chasing her, and you got his wife pissed off. Look at him. Really? You're chasing her? Look at that. I thought we were past this, she said. Does counseling not do anything for you? Look.
That's like that meme I see everywhere where the guy's walking with the girl and turning back to look at the other girl that just passed them, and everybody's like,
yeah.
Unlike me in the comics, and you know what I mean?
Now, Dave Acosta, the guy who does the interior art for a lot of these books, he's the one that did me that original art where I had him to do that same look back. They call it the love triangle, where the guy's looking back at the girl and his girlfriend's pissed about it.
Yeah.
So I gave him that to do with what was it? Rocketeer, Betty Page, and Bullet Girl.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. Ah! It's the only way she could get any whiter is if you put her in black and white.
Oh yeah. Very pale.
Yeah. I like that. Some nice pumpkin action. And then, of course, you can't show Elvira books without showing this one. Here's some more Dave Stevens making another appearance. The best cover in the original run. Look at that. Of comics.
Yeah, actually, that's my second favorite in that run. I like the Sunset one the best.
Do you really like it better than this one?
I like it better than that one. I love Dave Stevens. The other one is not a Dave Stevens cover.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like it better. It's not. I don't know any particular reason. Those are the top two. I don't know. I think this one that you're showing, I've seen that style a lot more maybe than the other one. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah. I do like the other one. I don't own the other one that you're talking about. I do like it, though, but I don't have it. All right. Who's up next? Roger, probably. No?
No, it's me, and he follows me.
All right. Wait, you?
I think so.
All right. Go for it.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so you can't do a horror show without a Bernie Wrightson piece. I pull out House of Secrets 92, and I'm like, man, that's not as good as this. This is arguably my favorite. This is probably my favorite Wrightson piece in my collection. It's not the most valuable, but it's definitely, I would say it's definitely my favorite Wrightson piece in my collection. It is a 9.0. The signature series thing is just incidental to me buying it. I bought it because it was a 9.0 white pages, and it just also happens to be signed by Frank Brunner. I don't really care about that, but somebody will down the road when I end up selling it, hopefully. But first Bernie Wrightson published cover. on this Web of Horror 3 from 1970. This is one of those covers that is just classic Wrights and just eeriness. You can almost feel the wind on this cover, and these, this group of people has encountered this giant monster out here, which it's not even really clear to me exactly what this is. Maybe a giant troll or something. But again, another cover with not much to it. Most of the cover's empty space, and it's just a nighttime scene in the woods, and you can feel how cold it is and the wind blowing. And it's just got a really good, eerie, isolated sort of feeling. There's no one around for miles to help them. It's just...
It could be a Yeti, yes.
What's that?
It could be a Yeti.
You think everything's a
Yeti?
Yeti?
Curse of the Yeti. But I don't know. It doesn't look like a Yeti to me. But
Bubba's right, though. I do think everything's a Yeti.
He wants everything to be a Yeti.
Well, this is Curse of the Yeti, so it's a Yeti. But I mean, when I look at it, I'm not looking at it. I don't really care about that because I'm not reading it. It's encased. I just like the art. So to me, it looks more like a giant troll than a Yeti.
It's beautiful. Whatever it is, it's gorgeous. That's all.
Could be a Yeti troll. We've got our own Yeti troll in the house.
Troll. Yeah,
it's Roger.
Hey.
our resident Yeti troll.
That's a badge of honor if that's the case.
Yes, I believe it would be as well. What is that? Is that the Smurfs Take London? What is that? Oh, it's not. Hercules. What does that say? I can't read that.
What? This?
At the top, what does it say? What's the title?
Oh, Creepy Things.
Oh yeah, I can't read that. It's written like somebody was on shrooms or something.
Yeah,
they wrote that.
I brought this one out just because Charlton. This is what I'm going with here. I have 3 covers I'm going to show here, and Charlton had a lot of these really just hard to figure out, for lack of a better word, very confusing covers, shall we say. I think this is Tom Sutton here, and I don't know if this is a witch with a cauldron or this is a spell. This is something that she conjured up or whatever. But it's very, very hard to distinguish exactly what's going on here. And that kind of has an appeal to me because it kind of makes you do a double take, or in this case, a quadruple take, to see what's going on. And it's very, very dense cover, very, very busy as far as it takes up a lot of space and so on and so forth. And Charlton had a lot of these, kind of what the heck's going on cover. Here's another one. Man, this glare, I do not like it one bit. I know we shouldn't apologize for it, but I don't like it. There's just a big mound here of something with eyes. Is it growing out of the ground? I don't know.
I don't know. Those dead faces at the bottom are pretty rough too.
Talk about just being like you're gonna die of a heart attack if not from the monster or whatever.
That was rough.
So again, just what kind of monster that is, who knows? Obviously, it's nothing positive. That's all we know for sure. And so that's another kind of cover that Charlton would use. Sometimes they would use interior panels and put them out in the front cover, right? And this is one of those with this. I don't know if this is some kind of mechanical construct. I think it is because it looks like machinery back here. Of course, it's in Android form. What's going on here? I have no idea. And that is kind of the theme that I'm going for here with these 70s Charlton covers. Sometimes they were just bizarrely confusing, but still cool in their own, and have their own little type of charm, even if they weren't, saying, ooh, that's a very classic monster. That's a very well-known archetype. It was like, who knows what, but weird, funky, but still cool.
I do like it. I really like the idea that they put an interior panel. Did they do that a lot?
Yes, they did. In fact, I have a couple other ones here I can show you, but some of them they're very, very like lame. I don't know why they chose certain like this one here with the cat. This is taken right from the inside. But it's not really a good cover at all. It's
No, that's lazy.
6 panels there,
Yeah, that seems lazy to me. Now, like the other one looked pretty good.
Yeah. Sometimes they chose some pretty good ones, but a lot of the times they were just, just like, oh, let somebody just flip through and say, just put that on the cover.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, Ghost Tales is a good one. Charlton has some cool bronze horror stuff. I like the probably my favorite one is the Baron Werewolf's what is it?
Library.
What is it?
Haunted Library.
Yeah, Baron Werewolf's Haunted Library. That's probably my favorite Charleston bronze horror title. But I actually have a few right now in a box somewhere. Yeah, they're real cool, and I know Mike Zeck did a couple covers for Charlton and those titles too. I think of Ghostly Tales. He did a really cool one with a big furry fuzzy spider that I thought was pretty cool coming in through the window.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I have it here somewhere. Hold on.
Yeah, I like the Charlton. The Golden Age Charlton horror. The title I collected a full run of was The Thing, and The Thing has several Ditko covers, including his first cover. And then they also did cool stuff in the Bronze Age. I've got a couple of them, but yeah, there it is. I like that one a lot.
Oh yeah, that's spooky.
Yep, Zeck. Really early Zeck stuff here.
Yeah, that's like what is it, like 73 or something? What's the price on that?
This is the reprint. This is the 78 edition. I think the original is 73. Yep.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yep.
I like that. Let's see. Who's up? I'm up, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to cheat because I wasn't going to show this book yet. But since I see another book waiting in the wings and I recognize the artist, I better hurry up. So here's Monsters Unleashed, The Man Who Cried Werewolf by Gray Morrow. And this book, if you guys don't have this book, it is just fantastic. Cover to cover, great stories, amazing art. If you pick up one horror book this horror season, make it this one. It's absolutely amazing. I really liked, so here's my Werewolf by Night figure over here. And I really like how they kept the same color scheme to the pants and everything. It looks very similar. Look at that. I mean, that's terror. She's grabbing her own neck. She's so afraid. That's just amazing. Dress is all disheveled. She's lost her shoes, I'm sure, a quarter mile ago.
Yep, that looks familiar.
Oh, yes. A good friend of mine, Roger, got me that, which is funny because I was in I had shown up tardy to an auction. I think it was Comic Kid 84 was selling it.
Yep, that's right.
And I showed up, and as I turned it on, the final call was going on this book, and I had sold to Roger. And I said it then, if I had been here 5 minutes sooner, I would have won this book because he got it for way less than I was willing to pay for it, right?
Way less than you were willing to pay for it.
I'd have run him up and paid for it. And then instead, he sent it to me as an AOK about a year later when he was done reading it.
Yep.
And I appreciate that. Thank you, Roger. I do appreciate that. Now,
I knew that was bound for you no matter what.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. This is obviously, the first person to show a Gray Morrow book obviously wins. But in case you guys are interested in second place, we've got DS Comics.
Yeah, well, that's fine, Bob. I'll take second place. I don't have any problem with that. You can have the limelight on that. But yeah, this is a Gray Morrow from 1973, Chilling Adventures into Sorcery #3. I actually bought a few of these that I found that were raw, and I sent in the best one, which was this. It's actually one of the highest graded copies now, 9.4 white pages, mostly because not a lot of them have been sent in. But it's also not an easy book to find a high grade copy of either. So yeah, it's a beautiful copy of this. There's just a lot going on here. Gray Morrow, they're talking about him in the chat. He is really good. I like his stuff. I think this is the only piece of his I have, but he did some early DC Bronze, like Secrets of Sinister House or Haunted Mansion or something. Some of those gray tones, I think. Yep. He did a couple of those. And they're real cool. This one just grabbed me because it just has a lot going on here. It's just a really cool horror scene. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got the skull with the snake coming out of it. It's got a ghost. It's got a devil. It's got sort of a succubus back there. It's got like a Grim Reaper, a Frankenstein. This is a lot. This is reminiscent of an L.B. Cole book to me. This is the type of thing that he would do like on Spook or something like that. So yeah, really dig this. It's got a Golden Age feel to it. And I actually have another copy of this just sitting somewhere that I guess I should sell at some point so somebody else can appreciate it. But yeah, I don't know. I just love this book, and I think I had 4 copies. I sold 2, and I still have 2 copies. So I don't normally keep doubles of anything in my collection, but this one I have doubles of. So I really like it. It's nice. Yeah, Gray Morrow, good stuff.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Sign up to DS Comics for his 200 subscriber giveaway. It's gonna be.
I'll tell you what. If anybody hits me up, and we can do a fair price if anybody wants a nice copy of this. This was the highest grade. The other one I have is it's high. I mean, it's probably like VF range at least. It's a nice copy. And anybody wants to hit me up, and we'll figure out something fair. I'm not trying to make money off it. I just wanted a cool copy, so I bought the stack.
There you go. Fair enough.
Yeah, Roger's got one too. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh man, now you know where that third copy needs to go. You've done figured it out.
Yeah, I love this series too. The Chilling Adventures in Sorcery. The first 2 were Sabrina issues.
Yeah.
And then Gray Morrow took it over. I did a whole video on it, and this whole series is really cool because it has those quirky karma, and twist of fate stories, which I just adore. Gray Man is doing a lot of those on his channel this month too. He's reading out comics that if you haven't seen it, everybody should. But that's not the one. I just put it there because I saw DS.
Well, thank you, Roger. We'll check in with you again later. Oh, sorry.
No, that was the precursor. That was the opening act. But
that was the Gray Morrow slide in. I got you.
I have the whole series. I really I just really like it. So I chose this one here because this era of House of Mystery it had Luis Dominguez, a very underrated artist, a Spanish artist, did a lot of these House of Mystery covers, and they're pretty creative when you think about it. And this one here, obviously, this guy took a fare, right? Notice the taximeter over here to the right, and he's sitting in the back seat, and somewhere along the line, he transformed into something hideous that he now can see in the rearview mirror. And notice that it's Rob's not here, but notice the cigar, it's ejected from his mouth because of the terror and panic that he's going through. These kinds of suggestive, you don't see the whole monster, you just see the hand and the eyes, and I think that is you don't have to see the whole monster. That the rest of it is in your imagination. You want to pick up this comic to find out what this is all about. So this is a very effective and creepy cover.
Yeah, and if anyone's ever woke up next to that Saturday morning regret, you know exactly what's going on here. Just saying.
Yeah, I used to have a copy of that book. I bought a copy as a throw-in. What was it, at Heroes Con or Baltimore or something last year? I bought a couple books, including my what was it, the DC 100-page spectacular #4, the Bernie Wrightson, the black square bound. And I was like, hey, throw this in, and it was that book that Roger has. And it was pretty high grade. I don't know if I got it graded or not, but I ended up selling it. But it reminds me of a Golden Age horror book that I can never ever remember which one. So I just can't remember, but it's a really cool book there.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm looking for something now. They've got me on a.
Yeah, and the other copy I had of this, Roger, is I don't know. I think it's like an 8.0. It's pretty nice. It's got like this little tear there.
Oh, that's no good. Go ahead and put that in my box.
I know. Other than that, though, it would be probably a 9.0 if not for that.
Cool. Yeah.
The only issue on it.
Mine is in surprisingly high grade, considering I got it some time back. And it's got, and I don't know about yours, but this particular comic has a really good color strike and gloss to it. At least my copy does.
Yeah, I think both of the copies I have now still do too, and all 4 copies I had were like that. So yeah, I mean, I think they used good inks on this because they're all seem pretty bright, the ones I've had.
Yeah, nice. I'm gonna have to hunt down a copy of that somewhere. I think I know a guy's got one. Here's the book. Here's the book. Comic Mag Musing. Bill over at Comic Mag Musings is requesting as the mate to that.
Oh yeah.
One.
Oh yeah. That's it. All right. Yep. They might have even taken it from this one. Yeah. There's actually a Creatures on the Loose that has one like that too. So it's one of those that kind of a trope that's maybe not as well known, but it's getting there. The backseat trouble.
Yes, the old backseat trouble. I'm familiar with it. Well, that's good. All right, let's see. I was going to show also. I'll probably be winding down. This will be my last group. LB Cole, since I hadn't shown any LB Cole yet. So there's my Dread of Night number 1.
Mm-hmm.
The zombie who still has his brains. You don't see that too often.
Wow.
He still has. They're exposed. They're getting a lot of air, but he still has them. And the Death Frog with the blood, standing in a puddle of blood, his tongue out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's one of the last LD Cole works because that's an 80s book, I believe, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's late Cole, as they say. Yeah, good stuff. And then we'll show this one. Some more Werewolf by Night Action. I'm collecting that whole series. I'm only missing one of the Legion of Monsters. Missing the Satana cover.
Oh.
But I have all the others. And then here is just a great homage, some horror homage with Wolverine. So love that cover. That's so good. He's got Sabretooth's head cut off. What book is that homaging again, DS, you recall?
Yeah, that one is Crime Suspense Stories 22.
22, that's it.
A Donnie Craig cover, a classic EC, probably, aside from the Keys, I would say the biggest EC horror book, followed closely by Shock Suspense Stories 6, which has that sort of clan. It's the Wally Wood cover with the sort of clan going to sacrifice the woman in the dress.
Oh yeah. That one's rough.
The red clad clan.
That's probably the most expensive Wally Wood book cover out there. I can't think of one that commands more money and of course high grades than that.
I mean, unless you're talking like Silver Age Daredevil in high grade, you know what I mean?
No, I'm not. I'm talking about real Wally Wood stuff.
Real Hollywood stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm collecting that whole run of Wally Wood Daredevil. I mean, I recognize the art ability in it, but the stuff where he could just let loose and fly, that doesn't even count. You know?
Yeah, that's Shock Suspense 6 is probably his top selling book, especially, and that one's crazy. There are 2 or 3 9/9s on the census.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. It's insane. And then there's 9/8s on the census for that. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That'd be something to see. All right, let's see. We have should be DS, right?
Yeah, so that Chilling Adventures in Sorcery also has a nice Grey Morrow electric chair panel at the end.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so this is Phantom Stranger 14. I saw some people in the chat already commenting on it. This is a Neil Adams cover. This is one of those like foundational Swamp Thing, Man Thing things that's right around the same time. This is from summer of 71. I never charted out what came first, but this is right in that foundational area where they were all sort of being developed. So, it was a prototype, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to check the dates, but in any event, a super cool cover by Neil Adams here. And, people in the chat were talking, DS has a better grade than mine. I'll tell you, this book is freaking impossible to find in nice shape. I searched for years to find a copy in the 9s, and this is the best I came up with, which is an 8.0. Now it has white pages. I've held on to it. I've been looking for years. I've yet to score one that's in the 9s. This is the best copy I've come across. A really, really tough book to find in nice shape. It's not a hard book to find, but you see it's like VG all the time or something, or like 6.0 at best. So really happy to have this, but this is the.
What do you think that book should be worth in a 9? Like what's a good purchasing number for that in a 9?
If I saw like a 9.0 white pages in an auction, I would be prepared to spend probably $350 on it.
Wow.
Now that's that either sounds like a lot or not a lot, depending on where you're coming from.
I think it's a lot considering its age. It's just bronze,
Yeah, but I mean, there's people collecting bronze horror. Especially the DC bronze horror in the first half of the 70s that's the hot area. And there's guys collecting that, including me, that know which books are tough to find in high grade, like House of Mystery 236 or Phantom Stranger 14. These books don't show up in high grade. So if you see a 9.0 or 9.2 come up on an auction, people are going to go after it, and it's going to go much higher than you think because nobody ever sees them. And there's lots of guys looking for a nice high grade copy, including me, and it'll go pretty high. Yeah, they'd be surprised. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see it cross 400 in a 9.0, 9.2 range with white pages. Yeah, it's a super tough book, and it's badass. It's just a cool cover, and it's a Neil Adams. That doesn't hurt. It's a cool title. I probably have 4 or 5 out of this title now. This is the lowest graded one. So what does that tell you? The other ones I haven't really had a problem finding higher grades. This one I've yet to. So yeah, there you go. Really cool Neil Adams book that gets recognition among people who know, people who are in bronze horror and collect this stuff. They know of this book. They're looking for it. People who aren't into DC bronze horror may not know about it. But if you are, this book and it's out there, and we all want it, and we all want nice copies, and there's not enough to go around.
Right. Makes sense. All right. Is that what you're closing out with? Is that your big book?
Well, I mean, I've got more big books. I'll show the Mask one if you want.
Yeah, show it.
Yeah.
You guys talk for a minute. I'll grab it here. That's probably the biggest, quote, horror book I own at this point.
Ooh, look at that Legion of Monsters, Roger. I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Well, you were showing yours, and I just figured this is not what I'm going to be showing. I just had it there while yes.
Oh, I see how it is. Yeah. All right, we appreciate you, Roger.
Another Neil Adams did a lot of horror stuff that we've, at least in this show. Boy, he certainly has been prolific, and he did a really nice job on this. Really nice greens and just the lightning bolt, kind of like a creepy drab, kind of feel to it. Really cool little magazine here.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's the first Legion of Monsters. I bought a copy of that looked really sharp, and I sent it in. I got a 9.4, and I also had a Marvel Premiere. What is that? 20 Marvel Premiere 28 or something.
Yeah, 28 Legion of Monsters.
The comic book Legion of Monsters. Yeah. And I sold them as a set. Somebody in the community, I can't remember who, but they bought both of them. I was on a YouTube auction, I think. And I sold them as a set, and nobody bid on it. And then right after that, somebody hit me up and was like, "Hey, do you still have that? I want to get that off you." So then I sold it. But yeah, it was a cool little set at 9.4, and the other one was at 8.5.
Yeah, that Marvel Premiere 28 is hard to find in high grade. I've never seen for whatever reason they're always beat up. The ones I found.
Yeah, because it's a good story. I like that story.
It's not what I want to keep, but I always been on the lookout for a high grade copy of that I can get slabbed to sell, because I want to sell a high grade copy of that. At 8.5 is the highest I could get on it, and I haven't looked for another one because the price has started to move up since then. So I've just taken it off my list. But yeah, the highest I ever got on it was an 8.5, and it is tough. Yeah.
All right, show us that mask.
All right, so top of the list consensus-wise for LB Cole, and one of the best dark GA books there is Mask 1 from 1945. This is LB Cole. I mean, I don't know, what can you say about it? It's just an absolute masterpiece. Black cover, It's just got so much going for it. This is another one of those sort of surreal covers of his that it's not like, oh my God, that's so scary or so creepy. It's just cool. It's got like, I don't know, fairies or angels on there. And this candle and this sort of devil holding the candle.
Creepy.
It's got comedy and tragedy on the top, bookending the title. That gothic writing of the title there. So yeah, just it's a really cool book, and black cover too, man, from 1945. So this one has really taken off in price over the last couple of years, and it's probably moved into like Punch 12 territory. Some of the higher up dark GA books. Dynamic Comics 8 is another one that I have that's sort of in that category. Not impossible to find, but the demand has spiked where it's a very in-demand book these days. And, can you blame people? It's so cool looking. It's not like anything else out there, really. It's just very unique work by him, and it's fantastic.
Very nice. I like it a lot. And it's colorful and yet dark and creepy all at the same time. So it's got an odd blend to it.
Yeah, it's not like anything else. There's nothing else out there like it other than Mask 2. There's only 2 in the title, Mask 1 and 2, both L.B. Cole. They're from Rural Home Publishing, which is not a big name publisher or anything. They just put out Mask 1 and 2. They both have very similar L.B. Cole covers. The other one has a devil on it. So, but yeah, this is probably the top horror sort of book in my collection. And definitely the top Cole book. If you look at any Cole list, this will be at the top.
Very cool.
Oh man, great stuff.
Very psychedelic, Old Comic Smell says. Yeah, and there's an anthology, which I'm not going to pull out now because there's stuff in front of it, but it's an anthology of L.B. Cole covers and L.B. Cole works and art. And the title of that anthology is The Blacklight Art of L.B. Cole, because everybody realizes that these things look a lot of times like blacklight posters.
Blacklight posters, yeah, that's what I was going to say, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they named the anthology after.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Roger, what do you got for us?
Well, I was going to finish off with, the same kind of stuff that I started with, the ladies kind of in gothic situations. Not so much this one, although I think, this is a very underrated cover. I don't see a lot of people talking about, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It's got, again, the lady in white with the very light blonde hair in some kind of mansion, and this huge picturesque window, and you got a monster bird crashing through, and of course she's running towards you. Just a great Neil Adams layout here, I think. And again, part of that House of Secrets run that started from '88 and ended, in the '90s, where that you had the ladies in peril, including, of course, House of Secret '92. And I'm going to show you a few more like that. We were talking about Grey Morrow. And here's a Grey Morrow.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Very similar to that, that they, again, the castle up on the cliff. And this is neat because, if you have, maybe your grandparents had like these oval picture frames. This is made in that type with that oval cutout here. So that, this would be something that would be on, a mantle or a coffee table. And he drew it and then had this oval to accentuate that middle part with, again, the lady looking back. Remember the previous one, the same thing, the lady looking back or looking to see what's coming up behind her. You're going to see that theme here again with that one that I showed. Notice the lady looking back, right?
Yeah.
And then you have this one here, House of Mystery 210, with a very similar theme. Although here she looks to be in a crypt, but she is, again, white lady, dressed in white, light blonde hair, looking back, okay, at some peril that she can't see correctly. She has no line of sight, but she knows she hears something there. And then the last one is this one, which is another Neil Adams cover. I don't know if he does the pencils and the inks or just the inks, but this is a really odd one because it kind of combines elements of gothic, horror, and science fiction. Because notice the castle now, or the Is that glare too bad here?
Oh, that's pretty good.
Okay, that castle or that keep or whatever, the house is up on a cliff face, but it's like an impossible a skinny little bridge area here. So you can tell it's obviously some supernatural kind of element is going on to hold it up there. And of course, you have those same gnarly green hands like in the one with the backseat horror that I showed previously, reaching out to the lady as she's running down this impossibly steep and narrow staircase made of stone. So again, it's like a popular kind of theme in this title of the lady looking back from some, pending or perhaps unknown horror.
Very nice.
Yeah, those are awesome. I have some of those. There's a couple of those I'm still missing, Roger. I don't have that one you have up right now. I don't have that one yet. I need to get
one. Yeah,
I need to get one of those. But the other ones, most of the other ones I have, there's a few that you showed I don't have yet. But it's a really good run. All in good time. The House of Secrets is such a good run in the early 70s. Highlighted obviously by this House of Secrets 92. But this is like the most expensive bronze horror book because it's a key first appearance. So there's a lot of cross demand for it. Another one I got today, you were talking about combining horror with sci-fi. Witching Hour 14, I got this in the mail today.
Nice.
Yeah. Witching Hour is another great title with mostly Neil Adams stuff. So this is a Neil Adams cover.
Make it big there, bub. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so again, combining horror with sci-fi because out in space.
Wow, 9.4. That's amazing. You found that one that high grade.
I got this in the comic. It's a 9.4 white pages. I got this in the Comic Link auction last month, along with that Beware 10. And honestly, didn't think I would win it. I didn't bid that much. I think I got it for like $120 or something. It didn't seem that expensive for what these things are going for in this grade.
Yeah, that was a steal.
Things are going like $250 usually.
Well, you know what we have to say about that then. The scariest thing on that slab is a sticker on the back.
People will research it, right?
You are correct. Yeah, I told you before, they don't bother me except for one thing. When I'm buying a book on Comic Link specifically to flip because it went under the radar or there wasn't a lot of demand for that auction or something, and I plan on flipping it. And then when I get it in the mail and it's got this Comic Link sticker on it, when I go to sell it, people will look on Comic Link and it will still be on there as the one I bought and it'll show the price. I'm not trying to, get one over on anyone. I mean, I'm trying to make a profit. That's no secret. But I don't need people to know exactly what I paid for it because then they lowball me and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I don't like these. But, it doesn't, for a PC book, it doesn't bother me that much. Like, this isn't going anywhere. So I don't really care. But it's still dumb. I wish they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I agree.
That too.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, this hasn't been, I was looking at it. I'm not going to do this, but it has pressable defects and it needs to be cleaned and pressed. And could it get a 9.6? Yeah, it could. It could get a 9.6. Am I going to mess with it? No. Well, somebody might want to at some point, but yeah, it's got some bends along the spine that don't break color, and it's got some dirt on the back, and it's not perfectly flat. There's a little warping up here, so yeah, it could be pressed, but I'm not messing with it. I mean, it's 9.4 white pages. I'm not messing with it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd leave it.
Yeah, I'd leave that. Yeah.
Well, guys, we've done it again. I think, we could probably go on a little bit longer, I guess, if you guys had any. What's happening? Oh, Roger.
Oh boy.
Roger, Liz is at the door. Roger.
Hey, Liz, how you doing?
Oh yeah. All right, we better let Roger go. So we thank you all. Roger, you want to say what you got to say?
Yeah, everybody. Hey, remember on Friday? I think all of us are going to be on Matt's channel. Is that right, or is it just you and me, Bub?
I will.
I can't speak for DS.
I won't be on there. I'm not available.
You're not available. Oh, well, excuse me. Heavy social calendar on the DS side. But
not really. I mean, when you work in a restaurant, it's not like Friday night.
Listen, I worked in a restaurant for 20 years. I know exactly.
Yeah, so Friday night's not like
very busy. Yeah. Anyway, Friday night, Comic Gories. Bub and I are going to be on there. I don't know. Bub is going to.
Don't let that scare you. Watch it anyway.
Bub has got a good chance to win. I'm just going to be there for fun. But it's going to be a great show with all kinds of horror comics being shown. So show up for that. And of course, I have an AOK but I have an AOK video tomorrow. And then, of course, the roundup on Thursday. Thank you guys for being here. You guys, this is the best chat in the business. Everybody be blessed and be back.
Thank you so much. And DS, would you like to say what you say?
Well, yeah, let me just say good luck on Comic Gories, you guys. And if you'll remember, one of you needs to win, because if you remember last Halloween, I was on there and I was the odds-on favorite because of the books I have. And I was running over everybody left and right, no problem. I have everything for horror, for Halloween. I got everything, right?
Right.
So I come up in the finals against Kenny, Comic Head 84, and what category comes up on a freaking Halloween show? Rainbow cover, a freaking rainbow cover. Are you kidding me? I don't have any rainbow covers. I had nothing. And he had a Silver Surfer 4. So that was that. I have PTSD from that loss. But
speaking of,
what do you need to redeem that monstrosity of a rainbow cover on Halloween and go win this thing? So I will try to catch it as much as I can, as much of it as I can get to, and then there he is.
He's trolling you.
Ironically, now I have a 9.2 of Surfer 4, and I was on Comic Gories, and there was no rainbow category. So
you got to fire up that time machine, buddy.
Yeah. But it's all good. That show is so much fun, whether you win or lose. But it's if you haven't been on there, the pressure of trying to find books within 30 seconds. The struggle is real. I'll tell you, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's a very stressful thing sometimes. So yeah, really cool show. Good luck to you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah, I never had all my stuff separated before. I usually just keep it everywhere that it is, but that show is particularly difficult. You gotta at least try and pull some things you think will be there. Think in your head about a group of categories and pull those books ahead of time and be ready with at least those. Then if you have to go hunt a rainbow down, tough luck, but other than that, you'll be ready. So I think this one Halloween episode is going to be Halloween themed stuff. So hopefully, I don't know. I've been on a losing streak on all these competition shows lately, which I take as a measure of, accolade for my collection. That's far less commercial and very personalized, but I'll
tell you, on that show, it's tough to predict winners on that show because everybody in this community has such good books, and it doesn't matter if you have Golden Age or if you collect moderns. If you find the right book for the category, everybody has awesome stuff for those categories, and it's. Every time I watch an episode of that, I'm not on it or whatever, I'm like, wow, I really can't predict who's going to win this. All 4 of them are awesome. Every time I watch it, it's like I have no clue who would win. Yeah. So, yeah, always it's a very exciting show.
I know. I'm always surprised when I lose. So, and when I win, too. All right. So, DS telling us everyone do their homework. And Roger says be blessed and be we'll see you next week. And I'll just tell you to read a comic. Thank you all for being here. We'll catch you next week on No Faces Comic Chat. Remember to read a comic and don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye. Roger, that glares. You've had glare all night and you can't come up with better glare than that? Ridiculous, man. There it is.